Hi, welcome to Dharma Jazz. My name is Steve. I like to help people make better music. In the first part of this series, I suggested that in focusing too much on Bill Evans' note choices, his harmony, chord structures, and licks, we risk overlooking two other important elements, his tone and his compositional awareness. Today, we're going to look at some simple ways we can start to generate a richer, more expressive tone on the piano, and how a well-developed tone helps us in committing to a musical idea. Stick around, let's explore some concepts. So you want to play like Bill Evans, Part 2. I know it's a rhetorical question. In Part 1 of the series, we looked at motivation and commitment to authenticity with the challenge, why try to be a second-rate Bill Evans when you can be a first-rate you? Hopefully, we've embraced the importance of doing our own homework, not just borrowing someone else's vocabulary, but digging in and building a solid foundation of essential skills around harmony, melody, time, and gaining a reliable, expressive technique. Part of building a versatile technique is to develop our sense of tone. So, what about Bill Evans' tone? Everybody has their own sound on an instrument. It's part of how we can pick them out of a blindfold test. To me, the defining character of Evans' tone is his commitment to each note, supported by his understanding of the fundamental underlying principle of good tone. The commitment comes from his unique musical integrity, but the underlying principle isn't unique to Bill Evans. I say this because on the piano, and I know I'm wading into it here, I'm risking some pushback by using such a broad brush. But on the piano, good tone, controlled tone, all originates from the same place, in the appreciation of a sense of gravity and weight. Now, there's a kind of stereotype, almost a cartoon stereotype of this pounding on the piano based on this misconception that the more we put our muscle into it, the louder and more forceful a tone will be. When we try to achieve a bigger sound by forcing it, by engaging in some kind of combat with the keyboard, we might get a slightly louder sound, but it will be at the expense of an ugly tone. Or at the very least, an uncontrolled tone. What do we do when we need a caressing tone, a velvety tone, a delicate and sparkling tone? Thinking only in terms of strength leads to a monochromatic tone color with a lack of nuance and beauty. So I'd like to talk a little bit about what we can control in making sounds on the piano. And later I'll be joined by my good friend, drummer Jeff Mintz from drumyoga.org to demonstrate a nifty diagnostic and remedial exercise you can do with a practice partner or a student. In our quest for a broader palette of tone colors, it's essential that we first recognize that the piano is a percussion instrument. As such, there are only a few parameters under our control that we can employ to create sounds on the piano. Now, I'm talking about standard piano playing, none of that prepared piano, nuts and bolts and coins and stuff and the strings, no plucking, just simply meat and potatoes piano playing. So for this part of the video, I needed to come to my beautiful place of work, my office, because we've got a real piano, this nice Yamaha C7, and my digital at home will not produce the effects that are needed to demonstrate the topics today. Some of the things we can control are the speed of the hammer striking the string, the speed of the dampers returning to the string by attenuating our release. There's quite a range to work with there. And the duration of the note itself. short or long, and everything in between. So these first three parameters work together to create our tone, and gaining control over each of them is vital to our being able to express our musical intentions clearly. Uncontrolled attack can give us a brittle or weak sound. Uncontrolled release can give us blurred lines, and a lack of accuracy in the duration of the tone or the duration of the spaces between the tones will give us confusing rhythms or wonky melodies. There's another element in the equation too. That's the damper pedal, commonly called the sustain pedal. It also affects the duration of the note and plays a big role in creating some of the illusions we have to conjure on the piano. Pedaling technique is a whole world unto itself, so we'll save that for another time and just focus now on the attack elements. So we're going to start out with a very simple, very effective diagnostic exercise that doubles as a remedial exercise for exposing and eliminating unnecessary tension in the arms and shoulders. You can do this with a practice partner or with a student, and it will help you start to identify this sense of gravity and weight in the arms that's so essential to good tone. For this, I'm going to call on my good friend, drummer Jeff Mintz from drumyoga.org, and we'll get started. So here I am with my good friend Jeff Mintz from Punk Monk Works, and he's going to help me demonstrate the relaxation technique I was talking about a little bit ago.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me here to your lovely studio.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. It's so great to see you.
This is cool. I wish your audience could see like your freaking super cool setup.
I'll bring them into the fold as time goes by. But anyway. So this is just a simple diagnostic tool to identify sort of residual tension in our arms. And the idea is to try to create a sense of dead weight in the arms. So the facilitator puts their palms up and provides a purchase for the other person's hand, and then the subject creates this little pokey thing with their hands. And so I want to tell Jeff to just like drop your elbows and just feel everything sink and let my hands support all of the weight of your arms. And just breathe normally. So I'm going to move my hands in some different directions. And what you want to do is be mindful of any tension that may be trying to creep in and help. So it's going to want, in general, as humans, we're always so helpful, and so our arms want to help. And what we want to do is give the arms a break and say, no, just go along for the ride. Just be completely dead weight. So as a facilitator, I want to move slowly, but I want to change direction without telegraphing it. And if the person's arms are truly relaxed, then they'll just move back and forth slowly without any jitteriness or anything. We go forward and backwards. I'm going to make some circles. And there's a little bit of tension inside everybody's tendons and stuff, but we want to feel that just sort of let go. So you just do that for a few minutes in each direction. Hopefully maybe do it until the subject says, oh, that arm wants to help, so just unconsciously. It's a really tricky little thing to really get 100%, but just a nice diagnostic tool. So the piano is a percussion instrument. The controls for the mechanism, the piano keys, are laid out horizontally. But the motions of our physical interaction with the keys are vertical. So this means that gravity is our friend. When it comes to making music on the piano, gravity is our friend. Next is a simple arm drop. So we're going to use our growing awareness now of gravity and weight. And we're going to suspend our arm, our forearm here with the other hand, and let this droop and just feel the weight of that arm, just like you did in the two-hand exercise with your practice partner or your student. And we're just going to simply drop it onto the key. Just let it sort of bounce and rest there. Do that a couple times. Try it maybe with a chord. And the only effort here is the minimum amount required to maintain a shape in the fingers of the hand to keep a purchase on this key so that the hand doesn't slip off. And if your hand almost slips off, that's okay, because it means you're nice and relaxed. Try it with a couple of fingers. All right. Now, here's an important thing. Don't push into the keyboard. I see some players doing this, some students doing this. There's nothing you can do to the sound once you hit the key to affect it. Not unless you're, a ninja or a Jedi or something. So the piano does not have aftertouch. Some digital keyboards have a sensor that will generate a signal, a control signal for it's assignable. So it might make the note louder, it might give it vibrato, it might bring in another layer of sound. But on the piano, it doesn't do anything. So it's just wasted energy. It causes tension. And never say never. Sometimes we use a pushing feeling as part of a particular sound. Let's not even try to go there right now. Just don't push down once you've played the keys. It's a waste of energy. It can lead to strain. Let gravity do the work. We lift up, we drop down. Now, it's gravity. There's a striking motion. So every striking motion, every swinging motion has a backswing, a preparatory motion. So we're going to do that same thing here with the hand. Now that we've identified the weight into this key, we're going to leave that finger on the key in contact with it, and we're going to do a slight upswing and then drop the weight into the keys. Don't try to push this wrist down. Just let it be pliable and respond to the weight in the forearm. The weight of the arm. Prep, let it drop. Try other fingers. Prep, drop. Do it with chords. Now you can use the 5-finger exercise that we did before, the relaxation exercise, and do one finger at a time with that little preparatory backswing. You do a backswing when you swing a golf club, swing a tennis racket. And so on. Touch, drop. If you want to see an excellent demonstration of this, check out the great piano teacher Seymour Bernstein on YouTube. Bernstein. He has an excellent video on this with a Chopin prelude. Check out the link in the description below. Okay, now that we've gotten our upswing and our downstroke, let's use some of our favorite two-hand voicings. Move up and down the keys. So, prepare, drop, prepare, drop, prepare, drop. Make sure you hit all notes exactly at the same time. This together with your interval practice. So say in fourths. Go slow. Fast or slow, gravity and weight are the underlying concepts for gaining control over the entire spectrum of tone color on the piano and for having a healthy technique. And just like the 5-finger relaxation exercise that we explored in my video, Secret to Playing Fast Scales, see the link below for that. It was really popular. It's the underlying concept we want to absorb here. In the relaxation video, for instance, at no time am I saying that everything has to be played in that position. Technique is always situational. The purpose of these exercises is to gain control. Now, I'm fully aware that there are myriad ways of teaching and approaching tone and technique on the piano. Some folks are quite passionate about it. Let me just say, I have nothing against any legitimate system of teaching technique. To me, a legitimate system is one that leads to the goal and doesn't injure you in the process. All I'm doing here is offering a few simple exercises that'll help get you started to developing better tone, and they aren't going to hurt you. So check out our next part of this series, and I'm going to explore committing to a melody with a greater awareness of weight. So please feel free to let me know how it goes with these exercises. I'd love to hear about your progress. You can leave a comment below or reach out more in depth on the comment page at dharmajazz.com. I always respond. And while you're at it, leave us a like and subscribe. It helps us to get the word out. And for a rich resource to help develop the fundamentals of chord structure, harmony, and powerful practice routines, please check out my book, The Road to Aqaba, Practice Strategies for the Jazz Pianist, available only at dharmajazz.com. There's a link in the description below for that. Until next time, happy practicing, and remember, it's only a matter of going.